So
Mm.
I'm going to ask you the
So,
question again, Paul. When you connect to the field of men who are standing around this training, waiting to
mm.
step over the line, what is it that you'd like them to hear, and what do you sense that they need to hear?
Yeah. I think for me it was returning like really back to simplicity and learning like tools I'd never even really had explained to me before. So within this training, talking about we learnt about all the different bodies, for instance. Like I'd never really heard that much, and I didn't even have an understanding of feeling body, spiritual body, physical body. It wasn't even a thing for me. And I think even in knowing that, knowing and learning about feelings, emotions, how they come up, um, yeah, like how to actually be with them, notice them and feel them. And then also the concept of using anger to actually direct me to what is actually happening in my body. So that was a big part of just feeling, like learning what it felt like in the body, like when anger kind of came up and it arose and kind of pinpointed or highlighted something else that was happening for me, which might have been like in that moment sadness. That was a big thing. Like that was a big shift for me within this what I learned, and it might sound simple to some people, but I really feel that lack of awareness of what happens in the body. What am I attaching to, whether it's past, present. It's just there's a massive umbrella of yeah, like I guess even just terminology and information that I didn't know, and as I learnt it, I could actually start to feel it and I could actually then do something about it rather than just kind of reacting. So it gave me like space and time to kind of, yeah, to understand what was, yeah, actually happening within my body.
Mm. And
Mm,
how
You're
would
up
you
for an
say,
experiment.
go, go,
You're up
go.
for
mm,
an experiment right now, Paul.
mm,
Like how, if you were to use your anger now, like if you were to use this quality of anger in your bones, that structure of yours, and
mm,
anyone listening, you can do exactly the same right now, like leaning into this bone throne of yours. Like anger resonates with the bones. And so utilizing what you learned around that to put your intention inwards inside of your body. And then what
mm,
do you notice right now?
mm. Yeah, I'm noticing like fear.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm noticing fear like in my body as I speak. Yeah. Like there's using it to, yeah, just feel like, oh, you know, there's that feeling of like, do I even know what I'm talking about? Or, can I be influential in, you know, in this work? Do I know enough to be able to engage men and be able to explain this work to its, full potential? Mm.
You've been sharing that when you use the energy of your anger holding space from within, you're noticing fear, and you notice several fears around your ability to talk about this work or
Mm.
to share about anger.
Mm. Yeah, I was speaking to the place in me that I guess it's the yeah, the fear element is just the uncertainty of like I think I've touched on it before, like I guess the knowledge based stuff rather and within this work, knowing it, remembering it and being able to talk to it and being
Well, okay, pause. Because it's not, go into your body right now. Because I notice there's this story, and it's great that you're bringing this in
mm,
because it's such a common thing.
mm,
I would say yes for men and also for women. that we
Mm.
need to learn something and then we need to remember it. And then we need to be able to bring it back in from our memory. This is the
Mm.
school system speaking. This is what we're
Mm.
trained to do at school. Learn all the things, remember them because we're going to test you on it. And if you can't remember it from your head and write it down, then you're failing.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so being aware of, okay, this is part of, I would say, a program, a school program,
Mm.
because you were in an experiential space. You
Mm.
did lots of embodied work. And your body, and I could tell when you started speaking, your body has an experience and
Mm.
there's wisdom in your body. And
Mm.
so, you know, my invitation is to not try and remember something so that you can get it right, but
Mm.
to really come into this moment right now. And these bones and these soft tissues and organs and cells and nervous system and this body, and trust what comes when you really drop into your body and let that speak. Let your fear have a voice rather than
Mm.
talking about it. Let your anger have a voice, let your sadness, whatever that is.
Mm.
And there's one extra thing there, which is like using your anger to make that choice. Because
Mm.
the choice point is, am I going to go into my head or am I going to drop into my body? Oh, yes,
Mm.
body. Okay, making space for that.
Mm. Ah. Mhm.
The old stuff, easy to make that choice.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, hearing you, Stacia, like, yeah, I'm feeling like, yeah, like a lot of sadness coming
Mm.
up, when you're bringing up that whole, like, the programming, the story, the schooling system, like getting things right. Like, I'm feeling like, oh, like so fucking sad about that. Like, 'cause that's just been a common thing, like for me, it's just like having to be a certain way or your perception of how you need to be rather than just being. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and let the sadness flow in your body.
Oh.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you need to push it out or make it anything different. Don't do anything with it. Just let it
Mm.
be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And sadness, is there anything more you want to express?
Mm.
Maybe
I
there's
think,
another feeling. Go.
yeah, there's sadness, but there's also that feeling of just wanting to like push back or do something. It's like the actioning of like, yeah, I'm feeling this sadness, but it's like it's wanting to bypass it. It is. It's like there's a feeling of it doesn't want to feel that sadness. So it's like I'm gonna just bypass that and get to the next thing. There's
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you for acknowledging that, Paul.
Mm.
It's so common. We've
Mm.
learned so well to not feel the feelings.
Mm.
And the mechanism is so fast to kick
Mm.
in and to stop that.
Yeah.
And you're noticing it. And then
Mm.
again, you can make a choice. Okay, I can let that go. I know that. Let's come back to feeling, making space for the
Mm.
feeling, knowing that this is a feeling space without
Mm.
pressure there either.
Mm. Yeah. It's just so, yeah, and I'm feeling like in this moment that level of joy. It's just like hearing that you can just slow down. Like it sounds so simple, but it's just like hearing it from you. It's just like I'm like, oh, I feel like a breath, like, I feel like more here now. It's like, yeah, true. I don't have to just get on to the next thing. I can just be slow,
Mm.
be here. Yeah, they're the things that I just really feel that you know, they might be simple to some people, but I think just hearing that and making connection that's a that's an option, you know,
Mm.
that you don't have to just keep going or, you know, push it down. It's just like having that level of slowness just to go, take a breath and be like, wow, I can just be sad for a little bit.
And, what also happened was that when you connected to your sadness, and I can still feel it, information comes. Oh, I
Mm,
feel sad about this schooling program,
mm,
and that we're trained to be more in our heads. And I feel sad about this, and I feel sad about that. And it's really valuable information. And it's totally okay at some point to go that the anger comes, and that,
mm,
that your anger wants to do something with that. But there's this fine line, and as Annika said, using your anger to point you towards what it is that you're choosing, and to
mm,
discern what it is that you're choosing. Am I bypassing, like you said? Am I choosing not to feel this by wanting to do that? Or
mm,
actually, is this a natural anger that's rising, that's, hey, I feel sad about this programming, and I feel angry about that too.
mm,
So I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to use this
mm,
anger to take action.
mm,
And I can feel that
mm.
as well.
Yeah,
There's so much wisdom in the body.
yeah, yeah, there really is. When you allow, yeah, when you like to, you know, you allow it to have permission to just be there. Mm,
Mm.
mm, mm, mm,
What are you
You
feeling
can
right
also
now?
mm,
let the sadness flow to places in your body that you might notice tension right now. And
mm,
some part can relax even more. So just
mm,
softening up.
mm. Yeah, I guess in this moment I'm actually, I'm feeling that anger rise, but it's kind of like there's this feeling of anger in this moment, yeah, towards, I guess, towards men. I'm feeling this bit of anger popping up now, like going, we're sitting here and it's just like, fuck, why did anyone show up? And I'm like kind of feeling angry about that. And yeah, and there's a mixture of anger and sadness there that, yeah, I'm feeling like the anger and the fear, yeah, that I think most men would be around this kind of work. Mm.
Where do you feel the anger right now about that in your body?
Yeah, it's feeling it's like in my chest. And it's getting warm,
Mm.
feeling it just kind of just there in an anger and almost an annoyance as well. And then there's a feeling of annoyance within myself. It's like, I'm like, what could have I done more of? Like, how could have I got more people here,
So
men here to
don't turn it on yourself right now. And I hear that voice is there, and it's valid
mm,
to speak it, and I just don't want to support you to turn
mm,
the daggers in on yourself.
mm,
I want to invite you to connect to the space in your body where the anger is, where you're
mm,
angry that there's not men that have shown up for this. And
mm,
and if you let space for this anger to speak, not from your head or not to talk about it, but to let it have a voice, give it your voice to use. What
mm,
does it want to say?
And to allow this possibility, not using anger against, but for.
Yeah.
What is it
mm,
for?
mm. Yeah, I want to bring it into, yeah, just give me more encouragement, like more courage, you know, to really, yeah, to step into it more.
So this is what you
Yes.
want from the anger.
Mm.
What does the
Yeah.
anger want to say?
Mm. Well, the anger, yeah, wants to be pissed off. It wants to be
And so
annoyed, and it wants,
let it speak from I. Let the anger have an I voice. I'm pissed off at,
yeah,
what does the
yeah,
anger say?
yeah. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off at, my friends who I've talked to about this work and have been really supportive and have told me, that they're going to be here, and yeah, and their interest, and everyone who's been like, yeah, just so interested. And I'm angry. I'm angry that like no one showed up. I'm really pissed off about it.
Mm.
I get, yeah, that anger, yeah, it's just, it's really, yeah, it's really disappointed.
The disappointment is a mixture of anger and sadness. So
Mm.
what are you sad about?
I'm sad that they're like missing opportunities to,
Go.
yeah, to benefit themselves, to learn something new, to be, yeah, like show up differently in the world, to take control of their self, the people around them. And they're people who, yeah, who know like that they need this. They've said to me, they've been like, this is would be so good for me, and it's like encouraged by, their partners and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm angry and I'm sad that they're not here. Mm,
And what might be possible if they are, if they do come? Like what's behind that? Like
mm,
what could be possible?
mm. I think the possibility is like strength, courage, like to actually be able to know yourself better, to be able to direct yourself better, to actually be more secure in like who you are, what you stand for. Like, yeah, I really feel that that's really needed.
Mm.
Mm,
Thank you.
mm,
Thank you, Paul.
mm,
I I want to support men to connect to their anger as part of a bigger feeling body. And you've already brought this in through sharing your sadness and your fear as well and your joy. Because when we actually realize that feelings are allies and there's information and there's wisdom, we're not afraid of them anymore.
mm,
This has been my experience, but it's also what I've heard from women as their experience of men reclaiming their anger is
mm,
that the way that they can meet as friends or colleagues or partners or whatever, it's completely different. And that
mm,
we can bring more of ourselves forward because we're not afraid of what this energy is in my body, that's my feelings that I've been avoiding for so long and I don't know what to do. And I'm trying to just communicate from my mind because that's what my schools taught me to do or what my culture
mm,
taught me to do. Yeah.
mm,
And I noticed the anger in my system to really hold space for this and in a way to penetrate
mm,
the cultural narratives that are just keeping us away from each other and
mm.
and most painfully ourselves away from ourselves. Mm.
Yeah. Mm, mm,
I notice mm, yeah, a clarity inside of me with my anger and sadness at the same time that I'm holding space for the possibility that fighting is not a necessity anymore. Like
Mm,
fighting to be someone, fighting to be in connection, fighting for space, fighting for being heard.
mm,
And also wanting to say that I, as a woman, I'm putting down my weapons to fight men. I'm putting down my weapons to fight women. In this space, men in particular, to say, I'm not here to fight you. And even before that, I don't think I was here to fight you. Deep underneath, there was a being that wanted connection and that didn't know how to connect any other way than fighting. And so
mm,
to make the fighting obvious, to say, okay, it is happening. Let's speak it out. Let it be in the space. Let's land in reality. Let's put it into the compost and make something different happen so that we can meet each other and that we can all actually go for the thriving or the love or the connection, whatever you want to call it, that we all long for.
mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I'm feeling so much joy in hearing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to make space for
Yeah.
joy as well.
Mm, mm.
What does the joy have to share?
Yeah, just hearing that advocacy, just like knowing something, seeing it. It's like seeing what needs to happen, which sometimes it's just so, I feel so hard for men to put all those pieces together, to kind of take that action. And this is why I think it's so amazing that you guys are doing this. It's like kind of leading in a way, and I know men are always being like, yeah, you've got to lead, you've got to lead, you've got to lead. But this is something that I think is just so much more nuance, so many more layers that takes care and takes like levels of nurturing along the process. And hearing you, yeah, in that vision of like just togetherness, which we all kind of want to be together, but all these things that we learn through the layers of process of life, what keeps it repels us is like knowing and is going deeper into these feelings that they have a language, like they have more to offer us, feelings, emotions, and to understand those and to come together with transparency and safety and honesty. Yeah, it seems so simple, but it's has been so convoluted.
Mm.
And what you're inviting seems to be such a way more direct way in order to educate us men to meet you, to meet you there and giving the tools to actually, be in connection. Because that's what we all want. We all want connection, whether it be, romantic or otherwise. Like, we want to understand each other. Um, so, yeah, the joy is coming from the aspect of how much, like you say, put down your swords, or put down any weapons. Like I really feel like, yeah, men get into this thing where they also feel like they have to get their weapons because they, don't want to be emasculated or whatever comes up, and they're not conscious of what's happening in their body, and so they react, or they kind of go. And I can even speak this for myself, how I've been, or like I'll manipulate, or I'll try to get one over because I'm scared of feeling weak, this sadness there that I can't like show up in a way. So I make myself look like bigger by yelling or doing something that's not constructive or conducive to connection. But yeah, yeah, to slow down, to feel, to connect. Like, yeah, that's what's so needed. And it feels like that, both of you just know how to do that so well in such a nurturing way, but also in a way that's fierce, that has like real strength and a backbone. Mm.
I want to say that I'm not here to lead or to educate. This is
Mm.
not my job.
Mm.
And I'm also, in a way, I'm not here to nurture. Like, I'm here to collaborate and to
Mm.
find out how it goes. And I'm here to learn. And I'm taking a stand. Like, I am, in a way, going first, which would maybe be like a new way of talking about leadership, to
Mm.
to to say I am holding space for this space to exist because I have a yes for it and I see a necessity for it. And I'm learning along the way as much as you do, like everybody else who's participating in that space.
Mm.
And I don't know exactly how this goes either, because if I knew, then it would be dead. Then I would be a teacher educating.
Mm.
This is taking a stand for evolution happening, and this is a stand for finding out how does it go for men to collaborate with each other, and also for men and women to collaborate with each other to create a different culture that creates different results.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Thank you for speaking that, Annika. And I also noticed the word educate when you spoke, that kind of ricocheted in a way,
Mm.
because yes, there's things that we can bring in and share in the space, but if it's leadership of some kind, it's from behind rather than out front. On the picture, the modern culture picture of leadership, there's one leader and then everybody else comes along.
Mm.
Definitely not that. And there is a nurturing element for me, as in from a place of love. Like, I'm holding space for this container with love,
Mm.
because I love humans, and I love what's possible when we feel and we relate from our own authenticity, from our own authority, and that we can peel back these armors and masks that we've all put on, and we need a space that's held where that invitation is clear, and the space is held strongly enough that in a way we can fall apart, that the masks can fall off, so that this actual authentic being that we are can come forward and be powerful and strong and still in connection, and not powering over as the old stories of power. And we've got many demonstrations of how that looks in the world these days. And so it's a courageous act to step into a container like this,
Mm.
create something different.
Mm.
And the fact that there's not many men here right now, it speaks to that, and it's totally okay.
Mm.
This is the next step.
Mm.
Mm. So my impulse is to land here. I want to check, is there anything that's bubbling or that needs to be spoken from either of you before we complete?
Yes, I encourage any man out there listening to this to get in touch with either one of us that you resonate with. If you do sense a yes in yourself and you're noticing you might be scared or there's something stopping you, to have a one-on-one conversation and to unfold what's there, and then to find out, do you have a yes or a no afterwards? Like, really being authentic with yourself. Like, it's not about essentially coming to the training, it's about finding out what is actually alive in you around that topic. There's a part of you that's listening to this right now. You're curious. Okay, what has that got to say? And what is there to to harvest that from that part? And what is your next step as a man?
So I will share the ways that you can get in contact with us and information about the training that's coming up towards the end of March, wherever this video is shared. And yes, reach out, and I look forward to meeting you in the next space, whenever that is.